Let's talk about Russia for a second. There is a line of criticism that the president's reset didn't work, that he was played by Vladimir Putin. You point out in your book, of course, that when George W. Bush, with the doctrine of preventive war, was president, he seized parts of Georgia. And so I guess my question is, you say in the book that America can't solve everything, but nothing can be solved without America. We're the indispensable nation. If neither approach, their administration, the Bush administration or the Obama administration, worked with Putin, what exactly are we indispensable for?
Well, I would take issue with the way you characterize that, because what I think I demonstrate in the book is that the reset worked. It was an effort to try to obtain Russian cooperation on some key objectives while Medvedev was president, and of course Putin still, pulled the strings. But he gave Medvedev a certain amount of independence to negotiate. Number one, a new arms control treaty, which was absolutely necessary. The Bush administration had allowed the treaty to lapse with respect to mutual examinations of missile sites and other important locations. So we knew what the Russians were doing, something that I believe strongly in. We brought Russia around to understanding why we thought there needed to be international sanctions against Iran. I'll never forget the meeting that we had, the president and I, and just one other person on our side, and Medvedev and two on his side, where we told him that we had evidence, conclusive evidence, about Iran building an underground facility at a place called Fordow. And the Russians were shocked because they thought they knew what was going on in Iran. So we brought them to the table at the Security Council. We got those tough sanctions, and we eventually were able to get to the negotiations that are going on now with the hope that something real can come out of them. We got support from the Russians to go across Russia to resupply our troops in Afghanistan. The reset was a device to try to refocus attention on the transactional efforts that we needed to get done with the Russians. Now, when Putin announced in the fall of 2011 that he was coming back, I had no illusions. I wrote a memo to the president. In fact, I wrote two memos to the president pointing out that we were going to have to change our thinking and approach. We'd gotten all we could get from the reset, but the reset succeeded, but we had to make adjustments given the fact that Putin was going to resume both the real position of presidency and begin, I thought, and argued, to be more aggressive in his foreign policy.
Let me go back to Gaza for